What's up everybody, welcome to another video in the series, and in this one we'll be solving the next problem, which is called minimax sum. So let's check out the problem statement. Given 5 positive integers, find the minimum and maximum values that can be calculated by summing exactly 4 of the 5 integers. Okay, then print the respective minimum and maximum value as a single line of 2 space separated long integers. Okay, for example, ARR equals 13579. Our minimum sum is 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 equals 16. And our maximum sum is, right, 3 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 equals 24. And then we would print the minimum and the maximum. Okay, that makes sense. So here you would be, okay, so here you already know the length of the array. It would always be given 5 integers, and they wouldn't be because since the problem does not state that they would be in sorted order, so they could be in any order. They just happen to be in ascending order in this case, but not necessarily they would be in our test cases. So here also they have 1 2 3 4 5, but I don't think that in the hidden test cases they would have them in ascending order, because then it would be just too easy. To find the minimum you would just add the first 4, and to find the maximum you can just add the last 4, right? Okay, so function description. Okay, input format, a single line of 5 space separated integers. Okay, so the constraints are interesting because the value of the integers could be anything between 1 to 10 power 9, which is a lot. But again, since it's Python, you don't really need to worry about the size. Here also you can say that it says the output can be greater than a 32-bit integer. So it could be a 64-bit integer or a longer, but well, we don't really care because it's Python we're talking about, right? If it had been C or C++, then we would have to come up with another strategy, maybe use a different container to store those objects. But in Python, they don't really matter because you could just simply add them, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all this code. And our first line would be, okay, so there's only one line of input where we are taking these numbers. So okay, let's this is a really easy problem, so let's keep it precise. So input, and then we would have to split it, then we would have to map it everything into integer. Once that's done, you can simply sort it using the sorted function, and then we can store it in a list. Okay, now to find the okay, so let's say that after sorting you have 1 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, so for finding the minimum you would have to add the first 4, right? So how do you grab the first 4? You would do L, and then you would leave the first one, so 1 in a colon, and that would give you this entire thing. That's the minimum, right? So you could store this in a minimum variable, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to store it anywhere because we're keeping it super short. Then you have to add the, okay, so you got the last 4, now you want the first 4, so you would have to do L colon, and then you would have to do length of L minus 1. Okay, so that would give you the first 4. Okay, so this would be the minimum value and this would be the maximum value. Okay, now let's see which one do we need to print first. So you can see that you need to print the minimum first, so you would have to print this one first, because this splitting right here would give you everything up to the first 4 numbers, right? So you could just go ahead and print this out, but since you need to print this one first, you would have to cut that, paste it there, and then you need to delete that comma. Oops. Okay, like that. So I guess if you just run that, that should be working. So let's run to see if we have any syntax errors or so. Why is it taking so long? Your output. Okay, right. So we're not, okay, so we are grabbing the elements we do, but we need to print the sums actually. Oops. So we would have to do sum, and then we would have to enclose it here. We would have to do sum here, and then there. Okay, now that should give us sums. Now if we run it, okay, so it's working. Let's submit and see if they work. Okay, this one's taking too long. Fingers crossed. Okay, so it passed. Okay, awesome. So we solved it. Congrats, we got the points. Okay, so that was a really easy one. There's a bunch of other ways where you could do it. You could also, uh, well, I guess this would be the easiest one. But other than this, what you can do is you can actually find the first four minimum, by comparing all these numbers together, by finding the maximum number and then finding the minimum number. Then you can sum the whole thing, and then from the total sum, if you subtract the maximum, then you would get the you know but that's just too much calculation, and we don't need to think of that too much, because this is pretty straightforward and it's working in our case. So we don't need to think of anything more advanced or anything. I mean, this is probably the most efficient solution which exists. So we're just gonna go ahead and end the video right here, and for the next problem, I'll see you in the next one. If you have any doubts though concerning this one, you can put them down in the comments below and I'll be happy to help you. So